On what must be the most miserable day in Sydney, I've got a little surprise. Look at this, it's a BMW X3. No, it isn't. It's a BMW X4. This week we've got the 2 and the 3 litre versions. Both cars have turbocharged engines. Both cars have 8-speed automatic transmissions. Both cars are luxurious, beautiful, lovely to drive. The 2 litre version has a 185 kilowatt engine with 330 newton meters and gets from 0 to 100 in 6.3 seconds. That's enough to be going on with, I would have thought, but you'd be wrong. The M40, which is the red car in this picture, has 265 kilowatts and 500 newton meters and does 0 to 100 in 4.8 seconds. And the fuel consumption isn't appreciably different. I mean, yes, it's worse, 9.2 litres per 100 kilometres according to this. This is the newer version of BMW's Angel Eyes. Remember those on those about 20-year-old BMWs? Daytime running lights. These lights are also LED and fully automatic high beams so that no one in the front is dazzled. But there's always light on the road ahead. This kidney grille with the BMW roundel is spoilt, in my view, by one thing, and a reader pointed this out to me and now I can't unsee it. Inside there's 2 bars that form reinforcing for this nose, and if you look straight through the grille you can see them, and I think it just ruins the look. But surely the most controversial of all is this. And the thing about this is that it wastes this much space that the X3 and X5 have. Normally this is where I would show you what it's like to sit in, but it's raining, as you can see, and I'm getting wet. So let's get inside. The inside is pure BMW. Every new BMW looks exactly like this inside. The good thing about this car is that, especially if you get the top model, the M40i, you can get all of this trim around the doors and windows and so forth in other materials. So there's a choice of metals and some timbers as well. And the timbers are real timbers, so they got a bad rap in the 60s and the 70s with that kind of fake rubbish. Not so anymore. Along the door we've got this lovely blue stitching, and everything you touch feels soft and quality. The steering wheel feels soft and quality, and the buttons feel like they're quality. And up here is the infotainment system and center stack, and a large touch tablet here, and a heads-up display up here, and that can have satellite navigation displayed here, or anywhere else you'd like it. There's also CarPlay available, which in BMW is wireless, but this car and the M don't have it fitted. One thing about BMW is, come in and have a look at this. The completely digital dash has these hard bezels on it, so that means unlike Audi, VW and so forth, Jaguar, you can only have displayed here what is already here. Yes, it takes different forms depending on what drive mode you put it in, but nonetheless it's pretty limited. I don't understand why they didn't just get rid of these hard bezels so that you could display anything there you like, just the speed and so forth in the bottom. This has some of the best systems I've ever seen for driving. Oh, by the way, my phone goes into the wireless charger. There is only one problem I've got with that, because here where the cup holders are and the 12-volt outlet is also a USB port that's facing directly up. Can you imagine spilling a cup of coffee in that? Anyway, let's get on with it. As we roll off, the BMW will lock itself. Up here the camera is displayed and it's in auto mode at the moment, and that means that that camera will come on when it's in a danger zone, or when it's in a tight space, or if you're reversing. This car also has fully automated parking. And these buttons along here you can tune to anything you like. So in other words, if you would like to have radio stations, you can. If you want a favorite sat nav position, you can. the sat-nav input. There's so many ways to input sat-nav. You can do it down here with the little scratch pad in the command center, or you can use voice control. There's a couple of other ways to do it as well. You can actually spell out the name of the thing by using the rotary dial, but that's just horrific. Voice control, funnily enough, works really well. It is the only thing that the voice control is actually good for. What I really like about the way this car drives is the fact that it feels very much like the 3, 5 and 7 Series sedans. It feels, in other words, just like a BMW. There's no doubt that it's big and bulky, and that automated parking system is, quite frankly, frightening, especially when it's in a very tight space, because it does everything for you: the brakes, the steering, and the gear selection. So it goes backwards and forwards selecting the gears itself. Inside there's plenty of room. I've got the seat set quite high because I like to sit high. If I'm in an SUV, I may as well take full advantage of it. The room in the back is snug. It's 3 Series size-ish. If I had to buy on price alone around $92,000 on the road for this car and $117,000 for the M40i, I would probably buy this car as a good compromise. It would be remiss of me not to talk about the active steering. Now, in this car, what that means is as you're going down the highway, you can turn on these systems with a button on the steering wheel, and this thing will steer itself between the lanes so as to keep the car centered. Now, that's not unusual, a lot of cars do that, but this will almost drive itself. And I don't doubt that that's what's coming in the very near future, that this particular car will be able to drive itself. We're only a bit of legislation away from it because it does a really good job. Even if you don't have that system active, it will try and avoid accidents. So if it thinks you're overtaking someone and there's someone in your blind spot, it will try and steer you back into the lane. There are many other instances where this car will also try and steer itself out of trouble. It's got active lane guidance and active cruise control, so if you've got them both on together, basically you almost don't need to be there. The performance, as I mentioned, is excellent in this car, but in the M40i it is blistering. 4.8 for a car this size, I mean, that's just ridiculous. On the highway, this is particularly quiet. The M40i are slightly noisier, and you can hear that whirring in the tyres. I don't know why the Germans are absolutely obsessed with having a car for absolutely every occasion, but they are. Given that that's the case, I'd probably prefer the practicality of an X3 or an X5 if I had to have an SUV. For me, I'd actually just buy the sedan. I have to deduct points for the looks. I just can't get my head around the fact that it looks like an elephant sat on the back of an X3. But it gets that point back again because it drives so brilliantly. We had this on some rough country roads, and although the noise from potholes was pretty alarming, the handling was just superb. One thing I don't like is the long list of optional extras that all of the Germans have, and Jaguar and Land Rover and Range Rover. But having said that, does that mean that I deduct points because the really good stuff isn't in the car already? This comes fully loaded. As it is spectacular. There is one thing that slightly annoys me is every time I pick up a car, the anti-theft device locking system is set to only unlock the driver's door. So although this has smart entry, so all of the doors will unlock from all of the handles, and they'll lock from all of the handles so long as the key's in your pocket, it'll only unlock the driver's door, so you have to get in and press the button. I would much rather that wasn't the case. I'm going to rate the BMW X30i, XDrive all-wheel drive, at 8 out of 10. But I'm going to rate the M40i at 9 out of 10. I absolutely love a BMW 6-cylinder engine, and although there's just that littlest hint of lag, by God, it's brilliant. The question is, could I live with this every day? Well, yes, I could. Of course I could. It's fabulous. It's got everything that you could possibly want, and everything it does well. I'm not going to do my final comments from outside because it's raining. But as always, leave a comment down below, and don't forget, hit the little round button there to subscribe.